Morning, people. Beautiful day. Well, apart from the rain, but nothing unusual there. Going back to this point, I got it on B mode. The regen isn't as strong when you first start off in the morning. Noted before, 3 degrees C. Regen is definitely not strong, even on B mode. Initially, when you first set off. I think that probably does tie into the fact that if your battery's at 100%, but then it does drop almost straight away and it shows sort of 96% within the first 100 meters or so. But even so, the regen, like now, full braking, nowhere near as strong, even in B mode. So, yeah, it's definitely the case when you first start out fresh in the morning, that the regen is nowhere near as strong. That's letting go of the throttle. It's not dropping down. It's a further to full regens. Interested? Right, so 32 miles. Yeah, I think, you know what, I think it's going to really struggle. It's not going to get there and back. It says it will. Pretty confident that ain't going to get me there and back. Pretty confident. We'll see. It's going to be real steamed up because everyone's in the car, so I'm going to have the heating on. So put it on auto, 70 through 70. I don't think it'll make it. I may have to charge it at the person's house I'm going to. We will see. So this is an important point to make, really, which is the fact that I'm not travelling any great distance today. It's all local. So I'm going to Newark. Newark's approximately 12 miles away. I'm going to Gloucester, which is approximately 15 miles away. I'm going to work to pick up the stuff we need for today. Well, that is en route anyway. And to Newark and then to Gloucester, because I've got to go to Newark to pick up a couple of the guys, that's not really that much out of my way. So this trip is all local. Yeah, I don't think it will make it on a full charge. Really don't. Don't think it will. We'll see. But the point is that I'm not going on a long journey. I'm just going local, just doing a couple of local tasks. And I don't think it'll do the journey. And there's certainly no charge stations apart from the one in Gloucester. And that's closed because it's Sunday. And Nissan's closed. You need the card from Nissan for the rapid charge. Unless I really want to wait there 4 hours, which I don't, especially with a group of guys that are not expecting to wait at a charge point for 4 hours. So this day is going to be a bit of a testing day for this. It's raining again, so in a car full of people, it's bad enough fogging up when I'm in here on my own, let alone a car full of people who have just been out paintballing. It should be partially dry, but not going to be completely dry because it's a wet day. So the aircon's going to have to be on and the heating's going to have to be on because it's 3 degrees. So it's now showing 69 miles. And I keep it on D mode all the time. So that'll give me the biggest regenerative braking I can get. But because it's cold or because it's just started out, it's hardly regenerating at all. So I'm not really pulling much back from this initial journey. Hopefully that'll increase as I go on to get as much power as I can back to the battery. I mean, you're consuming, I think 1.5 kilowatts with the heating on. It's not on constantly anyway, it turns itself on and off as it gets the temperature because it's climate controlled and it's on auto. So it's not on constantly, so it's only on some of the time once it gets to the temperature. So those two bubbles regen to the left will only equal what I'm outputting. So you need to you don't get much power back in with the heating on if it only goes to regens to the left, 2 bubbles. Anyone who hasn't got a Leaf probably won't know what I'm talking about, but anyone who has will know. Yeah, it's going to be a testing day for it, I think, and it's just what's slightly annoying me is just a local trip. We're not talking any great miles really at all. But it's also the association in your mind that it is local, because of course the miles it's covering is what really counts, not whether you think it's local or not. And it's 39 miles, it says, to my location. So, yeah. We shall see how we get on. I don't really want to run out with electric with a group of guys in the car. It wouldn't be a good advert for electric cars for one. and I don't think they really want to mess about at the side of a road for hours on end. So we'll see how it goes. One thing I do find a bit frustrating, but it's only a little niggle, is that when I open the boot up, it makes a terrible cracking noise from the left-hand side strut, I think it is. Right, that's the door unlocking, this is the noise. Hear that? Right. Ready? Ah, it's locked again. Hold on. There you go. Bit strange. Sort of sounds like it's coming from that strut, I think. I thought first it was knocking the light as it opened up on the inside, but no, it appears to be coming from that strut. So try that and see. I'll have to let Nissan know about that, because it shouldn't be making that noise. The right hand one doesn't. Now the locks with this key, I wanted to run through that because it's a pretty cool system. But I'm going to do that in a separate video, because I probably haven't got a lot of video left on this phone because it keeps running out all the time. So I shall try and keep it just in case something goes awry today with this journey. Okay, wow, so we're at the venue. I've dropped the lads off. Interesting one, because there was an accident on the way to Gloucester. The sat-nav took us around a completely different route to avoid that accident. Where it took us, the road was completely flooded over, so it took us probably 10 miles out of the way. It was flooded. When we came away from there, we had about 50 miles remaining. Stroke 55, according to the guessometer. So I was a little bit nervous, so I actually went back into the way where it said the road was closed, and it was an accident, which actually was restricted to one lane, so the road wasn't closed. But where the navigation was trying to direct us to was, it was wrong. It was seemed to be saying that you couldn't get into Gloucester, where you could, because the accident was a quarter of a mile before that junction. So I just ignored it and carried on. So there's a word of warning. It may be right, may very well be right, but in our case it wasn't accurate. There was something wrong, definitely. It was queues and queues of traffic, blah blah blah, but we could still get into Gloucester anyway. Now, by complete coincidence, I wasn't aware of this. Where we're going to is right opposite the Asda, where I found a charge point. So our destination, I've got to walk 200 metres, 300 metres back now. I've put it on our charge in Asda, and I shall leave it here whilst we're playing paintball. And it's going to be charged up to 100% when I get back, free. Excellent stuff. So that was perfect. Right, well, it wasn't charged 100%, obviously, because we didn't stay there actually as long as I thought we were going to, but it would have taken too long anyway. It's only a 16 amp output. It's not a rapid charge or anything like that. So we arrived at that Asda with about 42 miles on the guessometer, which, excuse me, may have been enough to take us back home, but I doubt it. I think it would have probably been about 10 miles shy. It was a 32 mile journey, not a 39 mile journey. We actually did a lot more because of the sat-nav redirection and the fact that the road was in fact flooded on the road it took us to, which it wasn't to know that, but it was a diversion which was unnecessary as it turned out. So I don't think it would have done the round trip, but again, there's another question, because I'm going to have to, as far as I can see, do the journey again. I don't want to do it with people in the car, because I'll just be crazy to conk out and be stuck with people you've offered to give a lift to. Just too embarrassing. So I'm going to do the route again. May get a chance to do it tomorrow. May not. Might do it tomorrow. So I'll do the route tomorrow. I'll go exactly to where you went. I'll turn around and I'll come straight back. I've got the emergency backup of dropping into my parents', I guess, to charge it up. Most of these problems, of course, are caused by the fact that I'm rural. So there's very little charge points around. You can't just pop into somewhere. I was very lucky there was one right next to where we stopped in that Asda, which is one of the few charge points I'm aware of, which is pretty amazing really, that we were only 200 metres away. So yeah, I don't think it would have made the journey, but I will test that. Of course, I will be 2 passengers less and a load of heavy equipment less, so it will probably make a few miles difference, but at least we'll know. So I'll try and do that tomorrow if I can. I've charged up again today twice, plugged it in, I had to pop back out again, and I was back on charge again tonight. And then nothing really to report really. That problem with the boot strut, a bit annoying. The fact that round trip may or may not be doable. I think it's way too close to call. Put it this way, it was uncomfortable. There was no way I'd risk it with the people. That's how close it was. It wasn't like I had 10, 15 miles to spare. It would have, the most I've got out of this Leaf so far is 68 miles. So wasn't going to risk a 32 to 33 mile round trip. Considering the fact that we took a diversion of quite a few miles, it's probably 15 miles out of our way, if not more. So I don't think it would have made it. And that was just with everyday circumstances. So, yep, I shall try and do the trip again and report back and reference this episode so you can track it. Because people who don't watch these in order are going to be pretty disjointed. Won't quite know what's going on. So, yep, okie dokie. I'll see you guys tomorrow and continue with the diary.